perp walk ban was not practical and that it could not support the legislation.
There could be a gaggle of media there, a lot of cameras there. We need to set them off on the side to be able to use the door, clearing a doorway by telling them, stand on this side. Are we staging a perp walk?
Often the media will know where a suspect is being held simply based on where the crime was committed.
Do you support a bill that would say you can't call the media?
We routinely call the media when we have a wanted outstanding suspect, whether it's New York One or any of the other media outlets. We alert the public.
Councilman Donovan Richards said that was fine, but once a suspect is arrested, perhaps the media should not be notified that the person is being transported from the station house. Now, when it comes to those perp walks, news reporters, well, we always want to try to figure out when they're happening so that we can get the video and the pictures. At the hearing, the NYPD said it fears the legislation could have officers handcuffed and charged simply if news cameras record video of people they've arrested. In Lower Manhattan, Dean Meminger, New York One.
A long-awaited decision handed down by the High Court, and now President Trump says he's looking into ways to delay the 2020 census. The justices ruled to temporarily block a question asking about U.S. citizenship, and our Washington Bureau reporter Javon Vital has that story.
Freedom ring! Count me in! Let freedom ring! Count me in!
Activists and advocates heard the news they were waiting months for. A question asking whether someone was a U.S. citizen would not appear, at least for now, on the 2020 census. As expected, the justices were split on the matter, a majority agreeing that the Department of Commerce did have jurisdiction over the contents of the census, but split the other way, against the citizenship question because of the Trump administration's stated reason. Last March, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross testified to Congress that the question was necessary to better enforce the Voting Rights Act.
Has the president or anyone in the White House discussed with you or anyone on your team about adding this citizenship question?
I'm not aware of any such.
But details later came to light that Ross wasn't telling the whole story. Through the discovery process, evidence showed that there were political motivations behind asking about citizenship. New York's congressional leaders were furious.
We are asking for Secretary Ross to be investigated. He should not have lied to Congress. He should not have lied to the American people.
The most cynical thing, nasty, illegal, vile thing I've ever seen in government.
A majority of justices also thought something was fishy. In a 5-4 decision, Chief Justice John Roberts sided with the court's 4 liberals, saying the supporting evidence just doesn't add up to the story they heard. Roberts calling the government's reason contrived and more of a distraction. The High Court ordered the case be sent back to lower courts and the Department of Commerce, which has only days to come up with a good reason for the question.
This decision being hailed as a major victory by opponents of this question being added. But advocates say the work is only just beginning because now it comes down to the ground game of getting people to fill out the form so they can be counted.
That